Good evening, everyone, and welcome again for this evening to have another amazing conversation with us. I am Dr. Ana Sierra, and I am one of the founders with Alani of the Latina Healing Institute. And I just wanted to be wanted you to know that we're so grateful that you can let us be in this space so that we can process and discuss these topics together.
Yeah, we're so excited to see you guys again. And my name is Alani Bankhead. I'm a certified professional coach. This is our third charla now, where we're going to be kind of talking a little bit about what the Latina Healing Institute is all about and talk a little bit about this retreat coming up because we've been getting a lot of really great questions from folks on what exactly is the magic that's going to be going down. And we are really excited. We've been doing a ton of planning about it. And so we're really kind of excited to introduce LHI to you guys just at a granular level and explain what we're all about. So
that sounds wonderful. I think that everybody's kind of been asking questions to us, like, internally about this whole retreat. And we do have our website, latinahealinginstitute.com, where you can find out more information. But if you stick around today, you'll find out everything that we got going on for this retreat. So, Eleni, I'm just wondering, like why are retreats really beneficial? Maybe we can start there. Just talk about why retreats in general are good for our well-being.
yeah. So I actually hadn't been on a retreat until I was in my mid 30s. And I, after my first one, was completely regretting that I missed out on this whole other world. Because I think, especially as really busy professionals, we're always just going all the time, right? And we know all the usual stuff about self care and like, we know, eat well, go to the gym, try to sleep, all that stuff. But retreats are really amazing because it allows you to really get out of that environment and the rat race that we're kind of always running, and just really focus on yourself. And so you can come, you can do digital detox, leave your work laptop at home. If you are courageous enough, leave your cell phone turned off, completely kind of remove that tether to those digital devices. And it's also really great because you can come learn about new opportunities for self healing. And so, one of the great things about it is, of course, we're all very busy people and we're all wanting to optimize ourselves. And so, what we're offering, part of it is, we have different opportunities for you to, whether it's through coaching or yoga or some other workshops, just identifying what works for you. And so we've got a really great lineup of different workshops. Dr. Sierra is going to be talking a little bit about what she's going to be doing in a minute, but we definitely have a really fun yoga instructor coming on who's going to be doing some trauma-informed yoga instruction. She's a woman of color as well, so we're really excited to have her and her energy on board. She's really mellow. She has a really similar background to a lot of us, and I was just really thrilled to bring her on board, just so that we can be that woman of color, supportive, inclusive entity. And so yeah, Anna, we'd love to hear a little bit about some of the stuff that you're going to be doing as well during the workshop.
Absolutely, yes. So retreats really have a special space, right? And it's a type of service. It's not like anything else that you would have, whether you're doing individual therapy or coaching out there or something else. But it's something that brings it all together. And the goal really is that we can come out of this experience really having you know having life changing events and processes and conversations and self awareness that we that are going to help just generally move forward and elevate your performance, your well being and your self knowledge in this. So we're bringing in an amazing healer, spiritual healer that will be performing some spiritual healing events. Now, one of the main things that we wanted to do with this is to make sure that we are connecting with our ancestors. We want to connect with them because we have been healing for centuries before medicine came up, right? We have been healing in many ways, and we need to reconnect with that. We need to look at that. Of course, the word, curanderismo sounds really really shocking sometimes, but it's because we don't really know it. And now, as healthcare, mental health professionals, we actually do incorporate some of those interventions into care. But how do we actually reconnect with those people that, whose blood are running in our bodies, right? Their experiences of strength, their experiences of trauma, but their experiences that are of stories that were not told are told. We're just not aware of it. And it's really more about learning more about that. And also we have a very evidence and research based uh, exercise that we will be doing, kind of to tease out all of those aspects of what it means to be Latina. What does it mean for us? And what is this term Marianismo? What does that mean? How can we work through some of the barriers that of knowing our potential as Latinas, because we are programmed, right, to be a certain way, to behave a certain way, to think a certain way. And definitely it is more to look at the areas that you want to address about being a woman. Like, what does it mean to you? And how do you want it to be in the future? And what if there's something that you've been struggling with that can help you break that? And we do have also the sessions with me would be to develop that tailored self-care plan, and we'll go into detail a little bit more as we talk tonight. But I am grateful that I see some people connected. And saludos, or the ones that are writing comments, thank you for being here. So Lenny, I think we could talk about what, why is this different than other retreats? There's thousands of retreats out there.
Yeah, there are so many retreats, but as best as we can find, this is the only Latina focused retreat in the DC area, within like hours of driving of the DC area. We know that there are some groups that meet within the DC area. You go maybe for dinner, happy hour, and then you go home. But this is actually intended to get you away from your normal spaces so that you can spend time connecting with other like-minded women, and meet with the new Latina Healing Institute family, right? And I loved what you said, Anna, about, connecting with our roots, because even though a lot of our trauma is generationally based, it also holds the key to the healing of that trauma, right? And stopping us from continuing to perpetuate the same cycles that our families, have carried all these generations. And so I love, and I'm really excited about the curandera. It's something I've never experienced. But then again, one of the first times that Anna and I hung out years ago, I'm probably 6 or 7 years ago, she hosted this mindfulness retreat, or not retreat. It was a vision board exercise. And so she handed this mindfulness exercise to me, and I was just like, what is this? And as a high powered DC professional, we don't have time normally to slow down, but these are the types of tools that we've been using for years that work. Some of them, work differently for each of us. And so the point is, you come, you get to experience them for yourself. You get to connect with those roots. And like Anna was saying, you can tailor a healing plan specifically for you based on what you've learned about yourself, uncovering all of these old limiting beliefs that have been swirling around in your brain subconsciously for decades in a lot of cases. So the Marianismo that Anna was talking about, you'll get into some really great in-depth discussions about it. And for sure, with connecting with other women in the same spaces, of course, we know when you're in community, you know that you're not alone. And we share a lot of these same experiences. And so this is one of the things that makes us most unique, on top of our shared kind of career and personal experiences. And so I know for me, I have almost 20 years in federal, state government, as well as nonprofit spaces in law enforcement and in the military. And I suffered the longest time in silence, just because I thought I was alone. I felt really isolated. There aren't many Latina women in the military or in law enforcement, obviously. And I know for me that these were passion projects, things that I was called to. But at the same time, I suffered a lot. And so I'm bringing almost 20 years of all of my learned experiences and tools and tricks on top of evidence based tools that we've researched and have utilized, so that you can identify what works for you again and have that tailored plan. And so I know my personal goal is I don't want any woman to suffer the way that I did. It was so unnecessary now that I look back. And we are really excited to be a tool for healing for you guys to help facilitate that flow of removing those old thoughts, and I call them weeds, like spiritual weeds, right? Like the things that just they're nasty and they don't look nice, and planting new healthy seeds so that great, flowers and fruits can blossom from those instead. And I know Anna has an amazing background as well, which I'm sure you guys are all excited to hear about as well.
Absolutely. I always tell Lani, I just admire how her career and her journey. I mean, I always tell her, I don't know how you could do it. It's just so, it seems surreal to me that, she's been in spaces where I would probably not imagine how much strength it takes to be there. And I do admire that from you, Lani. Um, for me, I grew up, in Honduras, and then I immigrated here. So I actually started working at 14 years old, and I have not stopped working since then. So being someone that came into this country with the immigrant mentality, which is to make it, to survive, and to progress, and to do something amazing in this world. Um, and having a terribly like heavy work ethic since that young age. Getting into when I got finally into the mental health field about 16 years ago, I realized that my interactions with people in spaces of vulnerability where there's a lot of pain and suffering, right? For 16 years, not only adult, women, but also children, young adolescents, like every age that you can think of. I think being so close to that, the hearing and helping with healing those wounds, or influencing the healing in some way or another, no matter where you are, in life, if you've experienced pain and suffering, we've all experienced actually pain and suffering. That's just part of the reality of life. Now, when you are in contact so much with humanity in that way, I do think that it does do something to you as well, to shift how you see, like, what are the valuable things in life, and what are the things that I am really grateful for. And but also, those are the things that fueled me to continue to do what I do. And I think that's just the amazing part of being a healer for about 16 years. But also creating from that experience, from those interactions, from those things that I know are very much deep into each other, like what is it that we need to do in order to provide those tools now in spaces where we are ready to bring and accept that, right? And have that all come together. So the we are unique in that way. We are Latinas who have had a extensive experience and careers in places where it's been really hard to navigate, because those spaces were not meant for us to be there, right? And many barriers, many messages that you don't belong there and that you shouldn't be there. But here we are. So
For
um
sure. So, one of the things that we wanted to kind of talk about as well was, what was going to happen at retreat and what wasn't going to happen at the retreat. And so, one of the opportunities that retreat goers are going to get to experience is one-on-one time with Dr. Sierra and I. So, you'll have individual sessions with us where we can kind of talk individually with you about what's going on, what's weighing you down the most, and kind of identifying what opportunities for healing could exist for you, and get you on that journey. And so, for those of you who've never experienced professional coaching before, I will tell you, I'll be the first one to say, when I first heard about coaching, I was like, is that even real? Like, who does that, right? But the more I looked into it, the more I realized that it really was a tool that I should have been more open to a long time ago. It's a different type of tool, right? So let's start with what coaching is not. It is not therapy. So therapy deals with trauma and healing, all that, right? Like, we don't have the training and the licenses to be able to do that type of work. And this retreat is not a trauma healing type of retreat. So we're providing coaching services and the like kind of thing. And so the other thing that coaching is not is consulting. So consultants, we know, are experts in their fields. They come in, they tell you exactly what you need to do to be successful in going from wherever you are to wherever it is that you want to go. And there's really not much deviation from the plan that they're giving you. Where coaching is different from, all of those other disciplines is that in the coaching world, we believe that the individual that we're working with actually has all of the answers that they seek and all of the tools at their disposal already kind of built into their DNA, which might sound a little bit woo-woo, but the concept of like, we already know what's in our best interest when it comes to our own healing journey is actually completely true. It's just a matter of, in our fields, our job is to probe and ask questions. In our field, we call it hologramic questions, right? Where because of our training and experience, we kind of know the places to go to pull out those answers. So if you're expecting to come to a place where you say, what should I do? Tell me what I should do. This is not going to be the place. So we're going to affirm for you that in the midst of your struggle, that you know exactly what you need to heal. And it's going to be our job to help you getting on that journey to understanding what that healing plan looks like. And I promise you, even though it might seem new or unique, once you start down that path and you start realizing that you really do have that light and that power already inside of you, it's just a matter of pulling it out. You're going to feel so powerful and just ready to move ahead with your healing journey. And the other thing too is a lot of people that we work with have already achieved a lot, right? So they're already getting the promotions, they have the salaries they want, they're go-getters, they love their to-do lists, but there's usually something inside of them that's saying there's more to life than what I'm experiencing right now. And I don't know what it is, but I can just feel that something is off, right? And so part of this retreat is helping you identify what those tools are so that you can hit that next level within you, right? So a lot of times what we're experiencing are thought processes that are based in fear and just like really negative emotions. And when you're making decisions from that place, like, you can still get results or you can try to control a situation, but it just doesn't end up as well as when you feel really amazing and really empowered and you're making decisions from a place of joy and just trust and faith and believing that you are whole exactly as you are. And so I know that sounds kind of crazy to feel like you could get to that point, but we've done that, and we do that with the people that we work with, and we're just really excited to bring all of our resources together so that we can do it with you guys. And so as far as creating awareness around thoughts as well, Dr. Sierra's concept of the Marianismo, I love, ever since she first mentioned it to me, I just fell in love with it. Was her thesis. Her thesis had it was all about Marianismo.
Yeah.
And just so fascinating, understanding how it affects us day to day as Latinas. So Anna, would you mind sharing a little bit more about what that might look like for a retreat
Yes.
goer?
Yes, absolutely. So you can find the in science, what we in psychology, what we call the operational definition of Marianismo in the textbook, right? And you can read it and you can figure it out and think, okay, this is something that I was taught. This is something that, but what does that actually look like? What does that actually look like in the several layers in how it is presented, how it comes out of us, how we walk in it, what does it mean to us? Because just like there is something that means something, there's a spectrum of things. So where are you in that spectrum, and where do you want to be? That is what we really want to nail down in this workshop, so that we can not only know the concept but also process how we fit into that, and where are those areas that maybe we do have to question about ourselves and about the role that we were taught, right? And whether we accept it or not, or whether we like it or not, whether we're resentful about certain things that we have believed and thought about ourselves, and so that we can then come to a space where your gender role as as a Latina, this Marianismo, is not ruling your decision making. It's not, but you are actually able to disconnect and then feel more empowered to walk in that role in a way that you decide and that makes you feel more powerful rather than letting it be a space that just brings for one example, if this is a space or a role or a thought or a way that you manage life that adheres so tightly to Marianismo, where you have maybe not taken opportunities that you really wanted, right? Then you become resentful with yourself. But then you also know you're meeting this gender role, so it feels okay. But then it feels wrong because you know that that's not what you want. Now you feel that, but how do you really become aware of that in your day-to-day life, in your personal life, in your community, but also your family and in your workspace? How does that come out there? And how we let not that it is our fault that we were programmed that way, but had we not been self-aware, and so that that doesn't control what's going to happen with our lives later on, or what has happened with our lives, right? We have had we make decisions based on what our core beliefs, what we believe about ourselves and what we believe about others. So when we have such a gender role programming, Marianismo, we may be blinded so much, not because we choose to, but because we have never sat down in a space and said, you know what, let me let me just sit here and really look at all these layers of this gender role, and how can I become empowered? Is something holding me back? That's what we'll find out.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so excited about this, Anna, and it's going to be incredible. And as far as the structure for the retreat, so we're going to have, our Marianismo a workshop experience, and you'll have plenty of materials to self-reflect, both during the event and afterwards. So we have a number of workshops that are going to be available for folks on top of the one-on-one individual sessions with each of us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then we'll also have the yoga, and then we also will be providing materials again, so in during leisure time, if you want to take a break, if you would like to work through some of those exercises, it's just additional bonus material so that you can again just go inside of yourself and start pulling out all of those ideas, beliefs. We have a saying that thoughts lead to feelings, which lead to behavior. So there's all sorts of work also in identifying emotions, because they're really amazing clues as to what we're actually thinking, right, on autopilot that we don't realize. And so you have a lot of stuff happening at this retreat. We're really excited to connect with you all and start building this incredible community with you and just healing and sharpening each other.
Yeah, and I wanted to just point out this question by Dr. Rosan Renteria. So healing is about holding a mirror towards ourselves, especially to see more within us. Alani, would you like to take a stab at that question?
Sure. I mean, healing is defined differently for each individual, right? I think based on my experience and based on what I see with the people that I work with is it is holding a mirror, right? So first and foremost, in a lot of ways, the place where we have those scars or maybe even still open wounds that are festering, they're festering because we haven't addressed them. And so holding up that mirror is really critical in identifying what those wounds are, identifying the potential source of them. In a lot of cases, we've allowed them to fester because we ran away from wanting to deal with it, because it is really, really hard. And so again, bringing it back to, the scar is a hard thing to endure, right? But we also are the tools to our own healing. So within those scars, there are beautiful lessons to learn. We can leverage those scars to do amazing things, just like Dr. Sierra and I have been talking about. Oh, we're taking all of our 35 plus years of experience and making sure that other Latinas don't suffer the way that we did. And we're really grateful for that opportunity to do it. And on some level, we're grateful for our scars because it brought us here, right? So even though they were really painful to endure, we're choosing to do something with them to empower and encourage other women as well. And so, yeah, I wholeheartedly believe in the holding a mirror up to ourselves concept, because once you get that taste of, the tiny whispers of your spirit telling you the solution that you're seeking. It might take a while, you might have to really probe around, but if you really just trust in your intuition, your Holy Spirit, your inner voice, whatever it is that you want to call it, it will never send you to the wrong place, right? I mean, if you think of all the times that your intuition warned you to something and you might have dismissed it, right? Like these are the hard lessons that we learn that, oh no, we should listen to our gut, even if it doesn't make sense to, it knows. And so absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Renteria, for the question. I
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. And in psychology and mental health, we do understand that although we are people that are trained in all these amazing interventions to address different types of I know mental health symptoms, we often also realize that the that we have to allow the client to have the autonomy to decide how to heal, right? And we have to know that it is not our job to tell someone how to do that, but it is our job to probe and to show and to suggest an intervention, suggest these things, because one of the things that I think a lot of people feel trapped by is by those expectations in ourselves and others, how much of that noise is going on in there. And
Right.
that's highly influenced by those core beliefs that we carry, right? We carry, am I good enough? Am I, lady enough? Am I a good Latina? Like we were talking a few sessions ago, am I this enough? Am I Latina enough because I don't speak the language? Am I, like it does boil down to that inner voice that we may not be aware of, that is controlling what we do, what we think, and how we behave. um so I really like this whole holding the mirror analogy, because it does bring back, the mirror is, you have to have somebody that can hold it really nicely though.
No, absolutely. And I loved everything that you said, Anna. And it's so true. And, one other thing to kind of be cognizant of and to highlight is the concept of you understanding that you have all the tools that you need to facilitate your own healing is really kind of crazy, right? Especially when we're Latinas operating in a world, like Dr. Sierra was saying, that is always telling us how we need to be. So the retreat, that's why, we made the decision to have folks leave their immediate environment so that they can get away from all of that, so they could really take the time and understand that no, they do have that autonomy over their own healing journey and their lives. And that can be a scary thing, right? Because it's a lot easier to go with what somebody's telling you should do, whether or not you agree with it or not. It's just easy, right? And especially as women, we want to be people pleasers and make our bosses happy and make our spouses happy and all that other, it's all good stuff. But the point being, once you understand how to harness and hone that self-leadership ability, man, things just really start opening up in a lot of unexpected ways. And so I know for me, when I'm working with folks, what we really want is this beautiful tension between this is kind of scary, but like I'm kind of excited for the possibilities, right? So when I hear people say that, I know that we're exactly on the right track to get them to where they need to go. So we're stretching them a little bit, but also they're understanding and opening up to the possibilities of basically being able to create a new world that is based in their unique values. And that's something that we're going to go over during the retreat, is values identification, which I know sounds super basic, but honestly, most people don't know what their core values are. So we know that all values are important, right? Integrity, justice, service before self, stuff like that. But there are hundreds of values, and we can't embody all of them all the time. And so the values exercise that we're going to be going through is going to help you understand how you are uniquely built, and it'll point you to what your unique gifts are to the world. And so, especially for folks who are struggling with, I don't really know what my life purpose is, or maybe, you're burned out from your career, you're looking to pivot, the values exercise is just going to be a really great tool to be able to do that. So
Absolutely, and I'm excited about that one too. It sounds it's definitely multi-layered healing experience. I wanted to just go into a little bit into the spiritual experience that you can be expecting to hear about, because I do know that although in mental health, in the research really, at incorporating healing practices into the therapy room is kind of like a new thing. It's not really something that has been happening for a long time, but actually, we know that those healing experiences do occur outside in other areas, in other places, and we want to bring that into this space. And really, what you can be expected to have in this is to learn more about what it is, right? I remember when I first heard about it a long time ago, I was like, oh my gosh, that sounds like, spiritually interesting, but like, I don't know if it's right, but because we have like this negative perception of what curanderismo is, it is really not that, difficult. One small example of how of an intervention in curanderismo is that you have the 7 ribbon method, right? You have this ribbon with enough space for you to tie 7 knots. And every time that you think about one of your problems, you make a knot. So you go through it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right when you're finished, of course, you do this slower than what I'm doing right now. When you're finished with each one of those, you take that ribbon, you put it in a jar, close that jar, and you go to your backyard, dig a hole in there, bury it, and leave it there. Now, that doesn't sound crazy, does it? It's like it is very similar to many other anxiety interventions. Like there are anxiety interventions such as the worry eaters. That you teach children. You have this little doll that eats your worries. Similar to that. It's not curanderismo, but it is an intervention created for anxiety. Which I'm thinking, wait a minute, they came up with the ribbon way before we came up with this. So it got me thinking that we don't really know everything in as far as like how our ancestors really really healed. Now that is just a small example, but in this retreat what you can expect to also learn about is um understand what it is like and how to incorporate that if you choose to, but also talk about like what is a cleansing, a limpia, uh, and a soul retrieval. Now, I'm not a professional curandera, so I can't give you like all of the whole experiences in there, but you're also going to be learning about the concept of sustos. Sustos, in at least in mental health, sustos are traumas that we carry, intergenerational traumas, in our current traumas. So sustos can be healed with a spiritual, retrieval, which is what this is about. Now, that sounds like I'm talking in another language, but it is something that I want to kind of leave you with that so that you can see this is not a regular experience or a regular retreat. This is something that we're really put together so that we can not only learn more about our ancestors, connect with them and everything, but also, hey, those things can actually help me now, in addition to the other experiences within the retreat that you will have. So it is meant to completely shift um, uh, how you even feel about being a Latina from the time you come in to the time is ready for for our dismissal on the 4th.
Absolutely. And I know, again, for some of you who aren't familiar with that type of healing opportunity, we would really encourage you to stay open-minded. But at the same time, this is a tailored journey for you over the weekend. So you're not required to go to all the workshops. We provide the opportunities if you don't want to attend. And we have the workbook, which has additional materials. We have yoga. We have some other options for you as well. And for those of you who are spiritual in other ways, especially in the one-on-one sessions, those are times when we want to talk about all that stuff, whatever faith practice that looks like.
Mhm.
There's no judgment. We are a super inclusive space. However you want to bring your whole self, that's our goal, is to get you to really show up and honor yourself, and honor your healing journey, all the work that you've already done, and just really get you on that path of understanding how you can, again, get yourself to that next level, so you can leave the retreat ready for the next week, refreshed and restored, and just feeling more hopeful than ever that you're on the right path. And on top of everything else, not that it's about anybody else but you have amazing gifts to give the world, and you have a mission to do. And so all of this is only going to go to serving what your ultimate life purpose is, even if you haven't figured that out, right? Like, we just want you to go out there, because we know Latinas are incredible humans, and we bring so much to the United States, and all the work that we do. And so we really are just grateful to be in this space so that we can help you guys feel whole and love yourselves, because we know how hard it is to do that in this world these days. But you are perfect just the way you are, with all of your mess and all of your flaws and everything. It's just a matter of how can we harness all of those what we consider like downsides, right, to benefit us and help us heal and help us advance ourselves. So
Yeah, and what a better way to do that, and being in a space of quiet, a space where we can just reconnect with peace, rest, and have access to amazing views of what Middleburg has to offer, Middleburg, Virginia, and also sharing that space, socially with like-minded Latinas. I think that's like the power and of this experience, the reality that we are looking for specific type of people that that this material really gets, you get this material, you understand it, and you get it, right? And that's why it draws you to the draw, it brings you into this getting interested in this and noticing if you are that this is a space for you. So if we're speaking your language, this is for you.
yes, come on out, try it. You're going to walk away with some great tools, some new awareness, feeling peace, and we're really excited to have you guys. So
Yeah.
and so Anna, where can they get more information on how to sign up?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Before we get there, let's just also give you guys a little bit of a little peep of what we're thinking of in the future. So when you come to this retreat, you don't only come in and will be have this experience and then you'll never hear it from us again. That's not the goal. The goal is that you come in and you go through this experience and you will be part of the Latina Healing Institute family. We want to continue to stay in touch with each person that participates because we want to foster a network of Latinas that really get it, this experience, by providing other services that are going to be there for you, like some groups that you can join so we can reconnect with each other. We will have everything put up on our website pretty soon of all the other self development workshops, things like that that we can provide to you as you are already in that network, right? And as we continue to grow that so that we can have that space for Latinas to connect with each other and connect and continue to be connected to us. We don't just want to like grab you and then drop you. We want to grab you and embrace the
Mm.
beauty that it is each one of us Latinas that has had these experiences and wants to connect with others that are like-minded.
Absolutely. And to Anna's point, the interaction that we have with you guys is only going to help better inform us on what those services are going to look like in the future. And so we want to make this thing as tailored and as personal as possible to you guys so that when you need a pick me up, whether it's in the middle of the night or, during lunch break, whatever, eventually we'll have resources that you can get to online so that you can get that boost that you need. Having regular meetups, just, whatever it is that you guys identify as something that you're missing, we are really excited to be part of that journey and helping you get those resources so that you
Mhm.
can continue on your healing journey.
We have a question here. What to what extent would this experience include art and or journaling?
That's a really good question. So, we do have journaling opportunities for sure. So, the workbook itself is going to have lots of thought provoking questions so that you can kind of go through that. We have toyed with, some art opportunities. There's a little bit of like open time because obviously we're going to be in one-on-one sessions, and we didn't want you guys sitting, for 8 hours a day just listening to people talk. We really wanted to give you time and flexibility so that if you needed to go take a nap, oh my goodness, the concept of a nap is like, I know, unfathomable. But yeah, so we are still kind of debating when it comes to that free time, what other opportunities are we going to provide? I know for me, like watercolor journaling is a really big one for me. Obviously, I talked about the mindfulness techniques that Dr. Sierra taught me all those many moons ago. And so we will have different opportunities for you to express yourself in different ways.
Absolutely, and those are spaces where you can reconnect with that creative side that we all have. And if you didn't know, even adult coloring is an experience that, if you do it in a way that is going to, guide it in a way, you're actually, it's like you're meditating. It's like you are in deep meditation when you're doing it. And how you color, how hard you color, what are you doing with the colors? You have to, if you have somebody that can look at your stuff, it's like, oh, okay, so it looks like you released a lot of stress in this one. And it connects us back to just even uh our, experiences as children when we used to do that for fun. And so it can sound like creative arts are a big part of healing. I do have another question here from Amada. I may have missed this, but it's happening in Washington, D.C. So we are in DC, so we everybody that you can come from anywhere to the area of Middleburg, Virginia, which is about an hour or so away from Washington, D.C. So it will be in Middleburg, Virginia from April 1st, and it's not a joke, through April 3rd. So we'll come in the 1st, and then you will be staying in and actually departing the 4th, which is the day, that Monday. It's a weekend, and you will have those experiences during that time. But anybody in the DC area can easily access to that area. And also, but if you want to come in from another space, from another part of the country, you're more than welcome to do so. Um, and yeah, that's the description of that. So April 1st to the 3rd, uh, 2022. That is your very first retreat that we are putting together for you guys, ladies.
Yes, absolutely. And for those who haven't been to Middleburg, it is beautiful rolling hills. You are not near any city. It's got a really cute little kind of downtown area. It's wine country. So it's just a nice little escape. Obviously, because we know how busy everybody is, we didn't want it to be too far away from your home, but just long enough away that you couldn't just drive home for the evening and get back into that cocoon of, kind of the craziness. So really giving you the gift, hopefully, or giving yourself the gift actually of taking time for yourself, an extended time. I mean, we love our bubble baths, we love, our journaling time, but really like an extended time away so you can really just focus on yourself and get quiet. So yeah, we're really excited about that. It's a great question.
Absolutely. So let me look at the things. There it is. And I wanted to make sure you guys have our information. You can go to the our website, Latina Healing Institute, which is like you see it rolling at the bottom, and find out a little bit more about the experience, about us. You can also read our blog area, which we had our very our very own Alani do our first blog in that in last week. So please feel free to come in, and you can book online on the website. If you have any questions or if you want to meet one-on-one with us, we are more than happy to accommodate that, to address any other issues or challenges or accommodations, right, that you may be might need in this kind of experience that we need to be aware of.
Absolutely. And so subscribe to the blog. Also, go to Facebook and Instagram. Latina Healing Institute is on there as well. Make sure you're giving us a follow so you can see the material we're going to be posting. The yoga instructor's got a little something that we're going to be able to put out there so you can kind of get a feel for her energy and what she's going to be providing. And we're just going to be sprinkling little nuggets here and there about what you can expect and just general encouragement for you guys because we know it can be kind of tough. So we're really excited to connect with you some more. And like Dr. Sierra said, if you have any questions, we are more than happy to answer them. Whatever you guys need, we're just really excited to get to serve you. So
yes. And I think that if we don't have any more questions, we can safely say that we've addressed everything. So come join us and share. If you cannot join, share with your network of Latinas. We don't know how, who is needing it in your circle, who is also having these experiences. I mean, or you may know who is in that room and who's experiencing things like that, but just share it. If you can't come, just follow us, like our stuff, and share it so that we can get in the ear of the people who need to come, who want to come, and who can. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. And for you, because I know we love to give, we struggle to help ourselves. If you're thinking you want to come, but you're struggling with the idea of like, oh, but like then I have to spend money on myself. I know that's something I really struggled with. You really need to like work on reframing your mind because I know if this was your best friend offering you an opportunity to self heal, you would be saying, you get out there and you go do that thing. Right. And so a lot of times we need to redirect all of that good energy back to ourselves because we are worth the time and the money. This is an investment in yourself and your healing journey and your personal development opportunities. And so, we definitely believe that the right people are going to show up for the retreat, but we're just tired of getting in our own way, basically. So we're encouraging you not to get in your own way anymore because you're worth it. You have value, you matter, and the world needs you to show up whole and healthy and feeling loved. So we're really thankful for this time with you guys tonight. Thank you so much, Dr. Sierra, for your wisdom. It's always just so great to spend some time with you.
Likewise, and it's been really wonderful. Thank you, everybody that joined and that will see this later on. Feel free to reach out to us, and I will be talking to you soon in the next live.
Yeah, we'll see you guys later. Have a great week.
Good night.
Bye.